Yo, what's up, everyone? What's up, fam? Welcome to Point of No Return Show. It is your boy Adrian, and
And Chris, this is the Point of No Return podcast. We settled on a name inspired by a hip hop song I used to listen to in the eighth grade before my soccer games. I used to get hyped to this song, dude.
bro,
I used
Immortal
to listen.
Technique.
I used to listen to it on my Zune. You remember those Zunes?
Oh yes, dude. Bro, I had a freaking MP3 player back in the day, man. Only 100 songs on the MP3,
Oh
and
yeah, bro. MP3. I mean, shit. I guess I'm old enough. I could say I'm old enough to say that I had a CD player too.
oh heck yeah, bro. I had a CD
Yeah, man.
player until the ninth grade, dog. When everybody had
Yeah,
iPod.
bro. Ah, damn, that's tough.
Yeah, everybody,
But you
everybody,
didn't.
everybody would always roast me because oh, you still got a CD player, all this shit. And I was like, man,
Yeah.
it's my CD player.
But you know what, bro? That built your character.
Oh hell yeah, hell yeah! I already had to flip off niggas at that age.
Forged. That's how you forged your spirit, man.
Hey, that's true, Chris. I am an old soul anyway, bro. So
Yeah, bro.
I I'm not suspended in time. I'm going against the time. So therefore, I'm going against all y'all.
Dang, bro. Yeah.
You see,
Yeah,
'cause
man. So
I mean, not nowadays. Everybody's just moving at the speed of light, right? Like everybody's just on to the next, bro. And I'm actually like barely when people are on to the next, bro. I'm barely discovering the first thing that they just discovered.
yeah. Yeah, bro. I mean, yeah, bro, you're a conservative through and through. You're a traditionalist.
I'm a traditionalist, bro.
Yeah, man. And
I'm a
we don't like
Latino.
those kind of and we don't like those kind of people around here. We wanna yeah. Tradition, bro, why do we need that?
Yeah, bro. No one needs a tradition anymore. And everybody's celebrating different traditions.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. So what's up? What's on the agenda today, Adrian? Talk to us, bro.
Man, so yeah, Chris, like I mean, on the agenda, we kind of talked about it right before, right, leading into this show. Shout out to everybody who caught our pilot episode last week. We're learning as we go, and we're learning with y'all. So it's gonna be a beautiful journey. But hey, for episode two, we were just kind of thinking, me and Chris, just to like toast up and barbecue something up for you guys and just talk about kind of like what we're doing here on YouTube. Why the hell we're even here? And I mean, and what messages we got on our separate individual platforms, and then just talk about the good here on I mean, so many things in the news, the world of politics, the economy. Um, but hey, I'll kick us. I'll get us started, Chris. Like, hey, man, I've been this week. I've been just building my YouTube channel, talking about the philosophy of money, which you actually it kind of inspired me with that phrase, like the philosophy of money, because
Yeah.
so many niggas on YouTube are talking about get rich quick in 3 seconds, make $1 million in a month, make $10,000 in an hour, or in 30 days. Everybody, bro, it's too much marketing, bro, and it's all false promises. It's all
It's all false promises and no philosophy.
no philosophy, bro. No philosophy. It's just how to do this, bro. I told you this the other day, right? I got this nigga on YouTube saying like, "Hey, download Beehive, a newsletter software, and you can become rich creating newsletters, bro." Get the hell out of here, man.
And that was that was the great secret.
That was his great secret. He's like, yeah, the top two secrets on how to be rich in 2024. Start a
And
freaking
what was the secret last week?
oh, bro,
Because it
exactly.
was because it was a different one, bro. It
Oh, it
was
was
a
a different.
different list
It
last
was,
week.
it's a different list last week, bro. Last week
Yeah.
it was start a blog, and now it's start a newsletter, bro. It's all
Yeah,
bullshit, bro. It's
yeah,
all
bro.
bullshit, bro. And
Yeah,
and and
bro.
and why? Like, how the hell did we get here, bro? Like, how? Like you
And
buy?
next week is start a book club. Yeah.
Yes. Start a book club, bro. Start a book club, and the reason why we say start a book club because our wives have started a book club, and
Yeah,
both
bro. They
both both me and Chris, as the patriarchs, are against this.
well, yeah, bro. Yeah. I, I might have to start kind of implement. Yeah, I might have to start enforcing some rules around here because there's too much liberalism, I feel like.
Yeah, yeah, too much free thought.
Yeah,
Hey,
there's too many conspiracy theories behind
yeah.
our backs, and look, man, I'm like, yeah, I was born in the '90s, but I'm an old school kind of guy, I think, and they weren't starting book clubs in the '50s. I'll tell you that. Bro.
We gotta cancel them book clubs. Chris, we gotta
Yeah.
cancel. So me and Chris got this inside joke because our wives start a book club and they're hanging out, and every time they return, they come home with ideas.
Yeah,
And
bro, they come home with, yeah, just they come home with plots.
with
Yeah.
plots, bro, with schemes. So, bro, yeah, like on my YouTube channel, I've kind of realized this that at least the space, I don't know, it's is it a niche? Is it a what do they call it in business? A new sea, a new what is it? The ocean, open ocean, right? When you have your own, you
Oh,
create
like a
your own
blue ocean?
a blue ocean of opportunity,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
I don't know what I have, but I think I have something. I mean, right now I don't have a lot of views, I don't have a lot of subscribers, but I mean, bro, like I think what I do have is I have a message. I don't think I talk to people on a regular basis, and they're fed up with like all these motivational guys or dudes that are just like selling smoke and mirrors. And a lot of people fall into it, man. Like what an industry, right? Like people say they pop up a video, the 5 ways to make $1 million in the next 3 months, in the next 90 days. And the next thing you know, you have like 50 kids, like whether it's young adults or people that are desperate, trying to get out of the rat hole and the rat race, sorry. And they sign up to their coaching, bro, and that's how they get them.
Yeah, bro. And they give their week salary, and their week salary, I mean, it might not sound like a lot, but to them, I mean, it's a week's worth of work, but to the snake oil salesman on YouTube, that's his income.
Exactly, and you and I talked about this, bro. He made the guy on YouTube makes up a number and says, yeah, to qualify for this coaching, you got to pay $6,000 and 89, I don't know, six thousand eight
Yeah,
hundred
eighty
ninety
nine
dollars.
cents, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
89 cents, bro. Yeah, they round it up. They do
Yeah.
99 cents, 97 cents, or whatever, and they tell you that it's a discount too. They have a discount every day for their program.
Oh, bro. I get emails right now from schemes because it's my birthday coming up,
Happy
and they're
birthday,
telling
bro.
me that I got a discount.
Yeah, yeah, they got a discount, bro. Yeah. It's a bunch of BS, man. And they're like obviously like they know what they're doing in the sense that by creating that, they know that there's an audience. They know that there's a lot of people that are desperate. Um it's like
So so
go
how
ahead.
how are you combating this BS, bro? How is your philosophy cutting through the noise, and what what is the philosophy of money offering, and what I guess what is the philosophy of money, bro?
Ah, what a great question. The philosophy of money,
Because
bro.
I'm a student of philosophy, so what's up?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I would say, bro, that like something that whether you're a Christian or not, and you'll be able to speak to this if you have insight maybe from other religions, but at least in the Christian world, it says like early on in the Old Testament, it says that the adversary was able to tempt man through money, government, and like obviously establishing like leaders and kings and kingdoms, right? And typically like kingdoms that are man-made, right? That we create here on the earth, they're all funded by money. So how do you gain power? It's by money. Now, in the Bible, it also says in the New Testament that the root of all evil is money. Bro, if the root of all evil is money and we're having to combat evil, bro, how do you defeat evil? Therefore, how do you defeat money?
Bro, if money in this equation somehow equates to evil, and money and cash rules everything around me, cream, then evil rules everything around me. And what chance do I have, bruh? Tell me.
Exactly, Chris. Because when you go to sleep, bro, when you go to sleep, you're thinking about in the economy that we live in, this modern society and modern world that we're living in right now. Because unfortunately, we weren't born 200, 300 years ago, right? Like maybe when there was a simple life. Though then again, obviously they had their own struggles. But
Of course,
nowadays,
man. Yeah.
in this current stage that we're in, everything is money, bro. Like I go to the
Right.
I go to the bathroom, it's money. I go to sleep, it's money. I go down the block just to get some milk, money, right? You got to pay for stuff. You got to pay for gas. You got to fund everything. You got to pay bills.
Yeah.
You go to sleep thinking, hey, how could I possibly make a better
I was gonna say
income?
you want to have sex is money. Yeah.
Bro,
Go
everything
ahead, bro.
everything is money, bro. Everything is money.
Yeah.
So you go to sleep thinking about money, you wake up, man, I gotta go clock in and I gotta go to work. I gotta go even if you have your own business, I have to go work on my business and generate more money. Everything is money because you want to be have a better lifestyle. So everything is money, bro. Everything is money. And like, why do relationships like mostly fail? The leading factor is finances. It's the money.
Yeah.
Why relationships fail too. So, bro, again, so if you think about that phrase, like money is the root of all evil, yeah, then how do you defeat evil? And rhetorical question, the answers that I've started to at least share on my channel is that the only way that you defeat evil is on focusing on the things that really, really, really are most valuable to you. The things that you have to really dial in on and focus on, that if you lose today, you would you would obviously suffer, right, tremendously. And that's obviously your family, the people you love, experiences, right? And obviously you're like, but wait a second, like experiences or stuff like that, like the things that are most important to me, they still might need to be fueled by money. But that's why you have to tell money what you want it to do. You have to learn how to control it. And today I discussed a little bit on how to budget like a pharaoh in my YouTube channel, on my YouTube video today. Because when you budget like a pharaoh,
They
what?
were. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, a pharaoh. Just I mean, there's a lot that I can go into, but just so I could hand it
I
over
was
to
just gonna
you.
ask you, were they really budgeting?
Were they really budgeting, bro? They weren't necessarily budgeting. That's a great. See, that's like in the video. I do talk about how
I
pharaohs,
don't know,
how to
but
budget
yeah,
like a
go ahead.
pharaoh.
Yeah,
That's a great observation on your part because really in
because
the
it seems
next
like they were spending a lot of money on that. I mean, the pyramids. How necessary were those?
ding ding ding, you got it, Chris. That's exactly what it is. What is it that Pharaoh was most focused on? It was legacy. It was legacy,
Okay.
bro. It was legacy. So how when you budget like a pharaoh, you have to budget for your legacy. See, if your legacy, bro, is gonna be paying 20, 30 monthly subscriptions and not having a penny to your name, like losing all your money, all your income, then yeah, bro, you're not gonna build a pyramid. So if you're focused on building a pyramid, building legacy for your family, for your loved ones, that way your great grandchild remembers who his great grandfather Chris was. You need to build a legacy. So a pharaoh was focused on legacy through the pyramids because the pyramids were a witness of them, right? A pyramid had like their history in it, right? So a pharaoh was focused on his legacy, on his legend. So if you focus on your legacy, trust me, you're not gonna worry about spending money on bullshit. You're gonna focus on what really is important, and that's the message.
All right, bro. Look, I'll be honest. I still have a lot of questions,
Yeah,
but I don't want to ask them all because you're gonna put more videos out, and I might get my answers there.
yeah.
So
Oh,
I'll
bro,
just be patient, man, and I'll try to figure it out as the videos come out.
I appreciate that, though, Chris. Yeah.
Yeah, cause you're telling me all this talk about legacy, and I mean, shit, bro. I'm just trying to. I just want to go karting this weekend.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah.
So I got a question for you, bro.
Well,
But
well,
yeah,
well,
bro. Oh,
well. I have a question. I mean, let me just paint the picture it back to you. Pharaoh was building
sure.
Pharaoh was building a pyramid, but he was also getting great grapes fed to him, and he was getting those palm trees waved at him on the weekends.
Oh yeah,
So,
bro. By
that's a
beautiful Egyptian women. Yeah.
yeah. So that desire that you have, bro, it's the same as what Pharaoh was doing, right? You want that lifestyle, you still want to build legacy. I believe that you can do both, but you have to
Right.
have the utmost control of your money. So it's just like, hey, the income that you have now, like if you don't know how to control it and tell it what to do, if it's chaos right now in your bank account, when you do have $1 million, like what, like you're eventually gonna run into chaos as well, and you're not gonna build a pyramid. You're gonna just be doing the same thing you're doing now, just with more money. So, like, how can I trust you with more money if with the money you have now, you're running amok, right? And that question is to everybody. So it's like, because sometimes people are like, I mean, Biggie said it, right? More money, more problems. So even though
Yeah.
we think more money's gonna solve our problems, it's just gonna be more problems, bro. So I mean, I think, Chris, and yes, in my YouTube channels I'll talk more about this, but I'm a firm believer that I think you can maneuver and do both. Have go karting and still build your legacy.
All right, bro. That's all I wanted to hear. I just wanted to be. Yeah. I didn't want to hear your message and then learn that I can't go get a pizza.
Yeah, no, 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 no. Nah, you can go get a pizza, bro.
I I like the concept of the philosophy of money, man. I think, yeah, I think when people try to teach finances from the level of, hey, put your money here, or like this fund gives you this much of a return. Um, I feel like nothing's internalized. Like I'm not like that doesn't do anything to change my behavior.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
when you learn why you got to be doing something, and when you learn the philosophical message of it, yeah, I feel like there's in fact, bro, you know what I okay, this is interesting. If we get any Mormon listeners here, we might, because we might be touching some Mormon subjects, and you might be thrown off because I'll say bad words every now and then, and a lot of the things I talk about aren't really. It might give it away that I've kind of like distanced myself from the church. So what I say that to say that what I'm gonna say is like, I don't know, whatever. You might find it weird coming from me, but anyways, dude, I was listening to a Come Follow Me podcast this morning. I was, bro, and that's basically, bro. Whoever's listening, dude, whoever's listening to this is gonna have no idea what we're talking about, but whatever. So this dude, he's going through the Book of Mormon, right?
Yeah.
And it was good, bro. He gets to Nephi, and he talks about how Nephi mentions the words of Isaiah, and how Nephi is basically putting a lot of emphasis on how we as readers should actually be studying Isaiah. And he goes on to explain maybe why Nephi talks about Isaiah so much. And the reason he gives is interesting, and I think it goes to your philosophy of money, bro, and to why teaching the philosophy and even the poetry behind money is important. So Nephi, he talks a lot about how he wants okay, Nephi values a word he uses a lot is plainness, like the plainness of the gospel. I speak with plainness. So what he values is simplicity, right? And if you read Nephi, I guess like when he talks about doctrine and stuff, it's very simple. It's plain. It's almost like black and white. It's as easy as it can be for anybody to just pick up and be like, okay, this is understandable. This is what I got to do. He's teaching you the how, and he's teaching it to you as simply and as plain as he can. Right now, later he brings in Isaiah and he talks about not only how important Isaiah is, but he starts quoting Isaiah. And he's like, hey, I'm teaching you this, but check this guy out also. He's giving Isaiah a shout out. Now, the interesting thing of Nephi giving Isaiah a shout out is that we have a juxtaposition. We almost have a kind of two ends of the spectrum. So you have Nephi, who speaks with plainness and simplicity, giving a shout out to Isaiah, a guy in the Bible who notoriously doesn't speak with plainness and simplicity. In fact, Isaiah is the opposite. Isaiah is notoriously very poetic and abstract and philosophical. It's actually hard to read Isaiah's teachings in the Bible. And the guy goes on to explain that could it be that Nephi, his plainness and his simplicity and kind of like the practicality of it was teaching the how of how to do something. But the reason he gave a shout out to this other guy, this,
Ancient
this
prophet.
guy, this, yeah, almost like a mentor of his, right? The reason he gave a shout out to him is because Isaiah, in teaching the poetry of the gospel, teaches you the why, and it inspires you in
Dang,
terms
Chris.
of,
So I'm Isaiah,
yeah, sure, yeah.
nigga.
That's basically, yeah. That's where we're at. Yeah, you teaching the philosophy and the poetry of money is a different message than going out and just teaching budgeting.
Exactly.
And that
Exactly.
has its role too. That's the plainness, that's the simplicity, that has its own purpose. But the abstract, the poetic, the philosophical has its other purpose in inspiring one to actually take up this lifestyle. And though, yeah, and I don't think one's more important than the other, but the inspiration aspect of it, the aspect of it where it's almost like it's almost spiritual, is such a key component in getting someone to live a certain way.
Well, yeah, because exactly what you're breaking down, and maybe for our viewers, I mean, well, we got zero viewers right now, but
Yeah,
like
bro.
just
They don't know
just
who Nephi is because
nah,
they
nah.
don't exist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, just to break it down, right? Nephi is like a prophet that lives like years after the prophet Isaiah in the Old Testament. Isaiah is more plain and poetic, just like you're saying, in that sense, like more theoretical and teaches
Yeah.
you the why, while Nephi is more of a how to, right? A how
Yep.
to teacher, like do this, do that, right? To come unto God. While Isaiah
That's
tells
facts.
tells you more like, yeah, you got to come unto God, but he doesn't tell you it straightforward. He breaks it down philosophically, almost poetically. Yeah, bro, exactly. That's exactly because, yeah, man. I mean, like there's a lot of people that are in debt in this country and all over the world, bro, but especially here in the US, like
And they need
debt.
to hear poetry of why they should get out.
Yeah, why should you even get out of debt? Like why is controlling money important? Why is money the root of all evil? Why? Okay, if money is something that we think about every day, how do I use it? What should I use it on? And then I transition and hand you off, bro, to a Dave Ramsey, to a budgeting guru, to a to an investment advisor, whatever. You go and I'll let you do that, right? But what I will show you is just the basics. Like I will tackle maybe the how to of getting out of debt and starting like to just build a financial foundation. But I will mix that with the theory and the poetry and the philosophy of money, bro.
Look, bro, the person who is in debt and who look, man, a lot of people who are in debt, speaking for myself, like we know we shouldn't be in debt. Like we know not only we shouldn't be in debt, but we know how to get out of it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And Dave Ramsey telling me the snowball method isn't doing shit for my debt problem, right?
Yeah.
Hey, man, go shove that snowball up your ass, Dave. Right? And I'm kidding. I don't gotta be too mean to Dave, man.
I
But
mean, the snowball method, bro. I mean, even I
no,
break it
sure,
down. I break it down as an
sure,
option, right? It's a
no,
how
sure,
to.
sure, sure. But what I need to hear is someone. I need to hear the words that will stir up my soul unto
Exactly.
repentance.
Yeah, well,
And that-
to inspire you, right? To inspire
yeah,
you
bro.
to say,
Yeah.
"Oh, freak!" Because, bro, like, how many people are actually being taught, like, "Hey, like, the reason why we budget is because let me sit you down and let's do story time, right?"
Yeah.
Like, when no, when God threatened the earth and He said that there was going to be a flood, Noah told everybody to get ready, to be prepared, right? To build an emergency fund or to get on the ark with him, right? But he's the only one that got on the ark, and he diversified his portfolio. He got all the animals in there. He put them onto the ark, and the ark represents an emergency fund, like saving $1,000, like having that rainy day account for when an emergency comes. The flood
See,
came.
bro, now you're giving me a scriptural basis. You're giving me a historical, spiritual context from which I can now better understand maybe my own behavior and maybe understand the importance of it in at a deeper almost like a deeper archetypal like a subconscious level that speaks to this part of me that is like the yeah, bro, that speaks to like the heart. You're speaking to me in stories now. You're speaking to me in language that is symbolic and is beyond my rational mind of like, oh yeah, I gotta put it in a high, what do they call the high return savings account, whatever. Yeah,
Exactly.
now you're speaking to this ancient part of my brain that is like, hey bro, there was a flood, and the flood represents this and the ark represents that, and if that is internalized, that ultimately changes behavior.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You got it. Exactly. Because and we think of like the great teachers, right, of the past, but whether you're a Christian or not, again, Jesus is one of those teachers, right? Teaching in parables. And so those stories that he taught resonate more with people than the actual like you got to repent, and just for repenting, but like actually like hearing a story that strings the heart, right? And that's I think with money, especially when you look at the Bible, bro, I feel like every story in the Bible has something to do because again, money is the root of all evil, bro. And in the Bible, these stories are telling you how to combat evil. Therefore, they're simultaneously teaching you how to combat money.
Sure. Yeah, man. And speaking of Jesus's parables, yeah, it's interesting that he used parables to teach, right? It's like it's almost like it worked on a different part of the brain
Mm-hmm.
than just telling you, right? Than just telling you, hey, stop complaining when other people get blessings. He tells you a whole ass parable to like to like awaken something in you. Yeah,
Yeah, he didn't say stop throwing stones, stop throwing stones. He said, "He who is free of sin may cast the first stone."
yeah, bro, and that, yeah, and that spoke to a different part of the human than,
Exactly, because that's
yeah,
like a psychological, like that's like everything is direct, 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 right? Direct, direct, or just straightforward, like teaching, teaching, teaching. It's kind of like it's I a good analogy is like the American education system. They just teach you 2 plus 2 is 4, or they tell you 0 times 0 is 0, or zero one times 0 is always 0, and they don't tell you why. Yet in other countries, they explain to you why
yeah,
that equation, the why
yeah,
of things, right? And like we're just so wired to just how to do this, do that, do that. And especially on YouTube, you see this, a culture of just quick fast food everything, fast food, a menu of drive through get rich schemes, and it's
right.
all it's all empty calories, bro. Dang, that's a dope one. I'm gonna use that on my next one.
Which one?
That it's just a drive through of empty calories.
Okay, bro, it is, man, and that's a good analogy. Yeah, it's just a buffet of McChickens. Yeah, man. Uh, yeah. There's a. I read this in a book by Naval Ravikant. He's like a tech investor, but I think he's talk. I don't even know what the context is, but it's basically like there's a difference between memorizing math equations, right? Just like memorizing how they all kind of play out, as opposed to understanding the philosophy of math, and from which point you can then basically do any math equation. Like, because you understand it, you're not memorizing separate problems and separate scenarios. You understand why one thing is logically leading to the next. And at that point, you're not memorizing anything. It's, in fact, it's like it's just naturally a byproduct of you understanding why you're doing one thing.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah. You gotta know the why of things, bro. Which, by
yeah.
the way, while you were talking, Chris,
What's up?
hey, bro, like I went back, I was just thinking, bro, like, wait a second, 0 times 0, bro, is that 0 times 0 is 1,
Really?
or is it 0? I'm tripping, bro.
I
See
think
that,
it's zero, bro.
and that's yeah, 0 times 0 is 0. All right, bro, dang, when people see this, they're gonna be like, dang, these niggas.
Yeah, but you're gonna lose all credibility.
All credibility right there, bro. Yeah, but that's the problem. We haven't been focused. We haven't been taught the why.
Yeah, bro, and yeah, bro, and at the rate, I don't know. Yeah, you might not know 0 times 0, but their favorite guru is over there doing some perverted shit.
Oh
So
yeah,
everybody,
their favorite guru is grabbing their coaching money and
yeah, bro, and something's gonna come. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, man, I think you're good. I think people will. Yeah, 0 times 0 is zero, bro. I'm pretty sure.
I like that, bro. But yeah, no, thanks, Chris. Yeah, so yeah, man. So with that, I mean, I'm motivated. There are a lot of great books. I mean, in being a teacher and being someone that presents, it's all about like bettering yourself and implementing the things that you're teaching, and
Yeah.
that's kind of, that's the goal, right? To keep learning and stuff. But yeah, bro. But so what about you? What are you up to in your neck of the woods?
Look, man, I'm starting my channel because I'm on a journey, and I feel like there've been a lot of stones left unturned on the quest on the quest for truth. And I've come to I've kind of come to a place in my life where, so okay, so I'm 31, and a lot of people my age, they're at a place in their life where they're like, all right, now I'm seriously gonna like grind, and I'm gonna get all the material wealth that I need, and I'm gonna make it happen. And that's cool. That's fair. That's yeah, bro, do it. And I feel like people, like, yeah, everyone has like a main objective, right? Whether, some people that kind of have resigned their life to like a 9 to 5 job. There, some of them, you talked to me about a coworker that will go unnamed. I don't even know his name, but that he kind of resigned himself to, like, nah, bro, I just want my paycheck and go play my video games and eat my junk food and call it a day, and that's a happy life for me. And everyone kind of has their objective. And then, people in their 40s, they have their objective of like, yeah, man, now I'm really gonna spend time with my family. I'm not even saying any of these objectives are like, they're all worthy. Depend, right? It's all relative. But they're all worthy in their own way if that's what you really value. I've come to a place in my life where my objective, and it might be a reckless objective. In fact, it is reckless. It's not even an objective that I would recommend. It's almost I think the word I'm looking for is a reckless one, almost an objective that can leave like confusion in its wake, and that end game, that end objective has become for me the search for truth with a capital T, no matter the cost, no matter at what cost and at what expense. And if you think about that, that shit's scary because we don't want to know the truth, man.
Well, the other part of that I was going to ask you, I didn't want to interrupt, is you said the truth with a capital T at whatever cost. My question to you would be, like, are you willing to put your life on the line for truth?
I mean, yeah, I think not in the terms of like defending the truth. I'm not even saying that.
Hmm.
I'm saying in terms of finding the truth.
Hmm.
And I think the search for truth in some ways requires your life being on the line, because we come from a religious background, you and I. We both served 2-year missions for the LDS Church. We're familiar with a religion that has a tight hold over your psyche. And that could sound like it's a negative. It's truth. It does. It has the doctrines of the church are infused into every decision you make in life. If you're truly in it, it becomes a set of goggles through which you see the world and make every decision, right? And in fact, it becomes a source of safety. It becomes a place of refuge in hard times. Now, if you look at other religions and if you look at people all over the world convicted of what they truly believe, they all have these places of refuge. And the search for truth might mean abandoning that refuge.
Hmm.
And that's scary. That's a scary quest to say, I am truly committed to finding what's true at whatever expense, even if it comes at the expense of my faith, even if it comes at the expense of my own my own identity, right? Because because the quest for truth is it's a crazy one, because you start viciously peeling away at the layers of the world you thought you lived in. And layer after layer, it gets harder. It gets harder to accept. It gets harder to. In fact, it becomes easier to be like, all right, I'm done with the quest for truth, and I'm just going to go back to living my happy life with my wife and my family. There there can almost come an existential crisis within it, and that's not necessarily a good thing. And I'm not advocating for an existential crisis, but I've just been driven through some desire in me to get to the bottom of it. And I'm still seeking, but I'm hoping that at the bottom there is something, there is some redeeming grace. And in fact, I think there is. I think all the religions kind of point to that ultimate truth, and they all point to it in they point, but at their heart they're all kind of pointing to this ultimate end, which speaks to our truest identity, right? I mean, what I mean by the cost, what does it cost to seek for truth? You look at words from Jesus, right? He says some things in the Bible like, he who can't leave his wife, his mother, his daughter, his children behind is not worthy of my kingdom. What's that mean? What's it mean to leave your wife, your daughter, your family behind? Like, that's not what I'm taught in church.
Hmm.
No, no, no. I'm taught to hold on to them. I'm taught that I have to make promises to them so I can cling on to them forever. But in the Bible, he's telling us, no, if you can't abandon them, you're not worthy of my kingdom.
Hmm.
Now, when you
And it's crazy. It's crazy too because, man, you definitely talked about a lot, but I guess I'll kind of work a little backwards from what you mentioned first. You said like layer upon layer, like everyone in the world has, like, there's different religions in the world and a mass group of people that believe in those said religions. And if they remove those goggles, they tear down the layers of belief that they have, and then they kind of find that everything that they believed in is kind of like ruined or doesn't really exist if they remove those goggles, or if they question it, if they kind of test the boundaries of what they've been taught throughout their whole life. And then and then which is right, which is definitely, it's like, is everyone praying for each other, or is everyone in the different religions praying that everybody becomes converted to their religion and be saved
well,
in the last day, right? Or in Armageddon, or whatever they believe in.
when look, firsthand, speaking of Mormons, I know them. When a lot of Mormons I know, when they learn about a new religious philosophy, or when they learn about a new piece of evidence that has to do with religion in some way, their mind sets out to learn. And look, man, I might be speaking in general terms, but their mind, because this is how my mind would work. Their mind sets out to learn this new piece of information with the end game of, how does this support what I already believe? How does this fit into the worldview that I already have?
Right.
And that's cool. That's a good way to cope with the world. Yeah, like Muslims, they're gonna look at all the evidence of Christianity and be like, how does this support what the Prophet Muhammad says? That's, yeah, cool. That's gonna help you keep your faith. But
Hmm.
guess what? Keeping your faith is not the search for truth.
Yeah.
It's the search for keeping your faith.
Hmm.
We're talking about two different things.
Hmm.
And The search for truth is it's almost like a nasty, violent affair.
Hmm.
It's almost like you're murdering yourself. You're murdering everything you thought you knew because you're so committed to just getting to the bottom of it, even though it might cost you those things dearest to you. Not maybe not physically, but on a level beyond that, where on a level of where Jesus is like, are you willing to abandon your family
Hmm.
in the quest for truth?
Right, right. And then so many people can interpret that right their own way because you hear interpretations. Well, if your family is a sinner, right, of course you're going to abandon your family if they're sinners and you're going to follow Jesus. But
Sure,
he never really said that though in that verse. Like he didn't say that the family was a sinner and you're leaving them to follow him. He just said you have to be willing to abandon them.
sure.
So so that's something bigger, right? That's a bigger sacrifice. And I think and I don't know, the thought that came to me is the story of Abraham and Isaac, right? Like he's asked to sacrifice his son and be willing to do it. Um to an
Well,
ex-
that was more a test of obedience,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Well,
That
yeah,
was,
yeah, true. Yeah, he wasn't leaving his family for God,
yeah,
but in a sense, I mean, if you think about it, if you think of the story, like he didn't tell his wife, "Hey, I'm gonna go sacrifice Isaac. I'll be right back." He just told his wife, "We're gonna go, you know, do father son night. You know, we're gonna we're gonna
yeah.
go
We're
out
gonna
to."
go bowling, yeah,
Yeah, or we're yeah, right. And he didn't tell his wife that, like, so yeah, it's still one of those tests where basically he's like, I have to put God over my family. What he wants, that obedience, I still have to put him over my family. So
yeah.
in that case, that's where I draw a little bit of a similarity with what Jesus is saying.
That's
Like, you know,
fair.
you
That's
have to
fair.
leave
Yeah.
your family for me.
That actually, yeah. Now that you put it that way, I would agree. You're, yeah. I mean, I don't even know where I'm going with this, but you're killing off your son. You're killing off. This is all symbolic. You're killing off your fat.
It's almost like God is
Here,
saying. It's almost like God is saying, or at least from the Christian lens, right? Like I gave you everything, so you must be willing to give away everything or lose everything.
yeah. So
At least the Christian interpretation. I don't know what you take of it, but
no, sure, that's fair. So the Buddha, um, a famous saying from his. I'm not too well versed in Buddhism, but I know that he came up with the quote, "Life is suffering." That was his equation. Life equals suffering, right? And then he came up with another equation. Suffering is due to, so all our attachments in this life, think about it, everything that makes you suffer is a, and this is not to say that attachments are bad. Again, this is beyond good and bad. But think about all the things that make you suffer in the world. The thought of losing your family. That's a thought that causes suffering. That thought is an attachment to your family. The thought of losing your job, that thought is an attachment to your financial security. The thought of losing your home, that thought is an attachment to the comfort of being safe. We're we're attached to everything. And all those things we're attached to cause us fear, and ultimately if they're taken from us they cause us suffering. That's at the, and Buddha was right, at the root of the suffering is our attachments. Now when Jesus says something like, you got to be willing to let go of your family, is there a way to interpret that symbolically in the sense of, you got to be willing to accept that your daughter, I'm speaking daughter, we both have a daughter, that your wife, that your family was never yours to begin with. and they're gonna be gone in a couple years. I say a couple years because in the grand scheme of things, 90, 100 years is nothing. In a couple years, I'm gonna be gone. In a couple years, everybody I love is gonna be gone. Are you willing to understand that they were never yours? And are you willing to let that go? And in the letting go of that, could there be a freedom to be found there? In the letting go of everything. In fact, at the heart of Christianity, there is a deep message of surrender, of just surrendering to it all, to a
Yeah.
complete. I mean, taking it one step further, Jesus says, deny thyself. Like, okay, not only abandon your loved ones, not only be willing to let them go, not only to the rich kid, be willing to let go of your riches, not only to the rich man, be willing to let go of your riches to enter heaven, but now deny thyself, deny your own very identity, and understand that even this identity that you believe is you might not even be what you think it is. And that's what I mean by the search for truth and the layer upon layer of just violently ripping them apart, and one by one ripping the whole facade apart until you get to the center of the Tootsie Pop. You get to the center till you get to that center point where now you've stumbled on truth, and you've stumbled upon that essence which is infinitely unchangeable forever. And that essence that's at the center of it, underneath your family, underneath your identity, underneath your religion, underneath you trying to hold on to the Quran, and you trying to hold on to Joseph Smith, and you trying to hold on to no, 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 the Bible is exactly how God intended it, and we got to live by every word. Underneath all of that, there is a point of pure truth, and and the journey there is a crazy one, and it's one that I think few people have embarked. I don't think many people truly embark it in the way I'm describing right now, because what I'm describing is almost like an existential meltdown of everything you thought you knew. Like I'm literally what I'm telling you right now is like I'm telling you to start stripping down everything you thought you knew, and that could lead into like a place of a mental breakdown. Like that's not the greatest advice. This is not like an area of rainbows and like pure happiness. Now once you get to the truth, I do think there is the ultimate refuge there at the pure truth. In fact, I think that pure truth is what Jesus refers to as the kingdom of heaven. I think it's what the Buddha refers to as nirvana. I think it's what the Hindus refer to as moksha. I think it's what spirituality refers to as enlightenment and awakening and ultimate realization. I think at the core, it's there. But the journey there is not a pretty one. It's not, in fact, it's a brutal one. And which is one of the reasons why, in this new context through which I'm understanding spirituality a little better, Jesus's journey is so much doper. It's like it was a brutal one. It was a complete surrender of everything, even to the point of surrendering God. Like he completely stripped himself naked, physically and metaphorically, to the point where even God himself, the presence of God, abandoned him. Right? It
Right.
even gets to the point where he's like, "You've why hast thou forsaken me?" And the bitter cup that he drinks from, that's symbolically speaking along the lines of what I'm kind of talking about. The journey is a fucking bitter cup. and it's a scary journey, and yeah, and where does that ultimately lead, and why am I on it? It's not practical. Like, there's no practicality to doing this. In fact, what's practical is to keep going to church and to keep safe, right? What do they say? Keep the commandments, for they keep you safe, or something like that. There's a song.
To not question your beliefs.
Right, but there's like a hymn that's like, follow the prophet, for there is safety in keeping the commandments, or something like that.
Yeah,
You remember that hymn?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's true. There is safety in that. There's safety in holding on to the Quran, and to holding on to all of your beliefs, and there's practicality to that. Um, but that's not what I'm after. And I'm not even advocating for other people to be after what I'm after. But this is just something that grew in me, where I just started having this fucking like angst, this thirst for, and it's a byproduct of my own suffering, that I'm like, I I don't want to be medicated anymore. And by medicated, I don't mean like literal medications. I mean psychologically, philosophically medicated, and lulled by the beliefs that try to keep people like behaving, the beliefs that try to keep us sane. I just don't want that anymore. I want to get to the source now. I want to get to the bottom of it all, because I think that there I'm finally going to find the peace I've been looking for. But the journey there is going to be there's going to be a lot of bitter cups to drink from.
Yeah.
And yeah. And
It's a,
not to say it's a completely brutal journey, right? It's not, but there are some moments that I've experienced in the past couple years, like in the past couple months too, of just kind of breaking things apart, and like just coming to grips with the fact that, like, yeah, my daughter is not mine. This, like, I'm one day this is all gonna be gone. So then what is it?
mhm.
And yeah,
I don't
and
know. Yeah.
religion.
Well.
Go ahead.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry, Chris. Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, it's a fascinating breakdown that you just like shared. I mean, and like the viewers are gonna see, right, that like um obviously, like, yeah, you're on this journey, and it's not to say I'm not gonna push back on these episodes, but what I will do is always bring to you like just more like insight, I guess, because for example, while you were talking, I was like, man, like I was actually thinking like, man, he's right. Like, for example, the story of Job came to mind, right? Like he's stripped of everything, right? And his family dies, like he loses everything. He's stripped of everything, but then he still says, hey, I know that God lives. I know my Redeemer lives, right? He passes the test almost, right? So you kind of have that message where you have to be stripped of everything, but then you also have the message of love. And then I was thinking while you were talking, I was like, huh, but so that's interesting, because like, do all religions lead to that, to love? And then what is love? Because I know a lot of people get confused like with the definition of that. But I was like, man, like that's crazy. So I see, like, from what you're saying, like learning how to like strip yourself of everything, where you can like you're basically like you don't have any attachment, and you like Job, right? He, because he was able to, I guess, let go of all that stuff, and not be phased by it. He was still able to be grateful, or like find the truth, essentially, right? That God lives, and not like, like curse God, right? But then the other teaching that I get from the Bible is love being defined basically by sacrifice. Um, so because when you were talking about attachments, right, I was thinking, well, at least from the Christian lens, right? Like the reason why God sends His Son, Jesus Christ, to the earth is because of the attachment piece, that we are His children, right? So I was thinking, well, in that case, like, yeah, we're his attachments. That's why, because he loved us. However, in his life, in his ministry, you are right. Jesus was completely like unattached in the sense that he was like he was still with the people, but he was like nothing phased him in the sense that no, that doesn't bother me. No, that doesn't bother me. So I don't know. It's just interesting as you were talking. I was like, wait a second. So do you have to get to this point of like, yeah, I'm not phased. I'm not attached to these things because I know that I'm fueled by love. And then is there a test of sacrifice that all of us will eventually have to walk down that path of like having to sacrifice or like lose everything? Or like in Jesus's case, lose his life, sacrifice his life for those? Like, is it possible that in the story, and obviously I haven't heard like your take on that, right? But like in the story, is it possible that in order for him to find love and sacrifice for us, he needed to be unattached so that he can go ahead and do that? Does that make sense? I don't know
Yeah.
if that correlation, we're kind of where nothing phases you, right? Where your sole focus is like, I need to do what my responsibility is. I love these people, even though like right now, like they're doing all this, but whatever. Like, even though they're doing all this, spitting in my face, Pilot's over there wiping his napkin, like people are calling me this and that. I'm unattached from all of that, and my purpose is to sacrifice myself because I love them. I don't know.
So
Those were thoughts, man. But
I'm following you. Okay, so you know how I mentioned when you strip the layers, you
Mhm.
get to a center point,
Mhm.
right? As you strip the layers of who you think you are, of what you think you are, of your family, your identity, the layers of Job, right? Job was getting one layer stripped out from him at a time. Um, that that book, I mean, that could be that literally happened, or that whole story could be just a beautiful metaphor of the process.
Mhm.
Because think of how that story ends. He's given like double everything he had. He's given like two new wives and like 20 new kids and like more money than he ever had. Like, bro, that doesn't make any sense because that's not gonna make him happy. That's not his wife and his kids.
Mhm.
Right? The whole story is like the ending doesn't make any sense, which makes me think there's more poetry there than actual like that literally happened. And the fact that he's given everything multiplied also speaks to when Jesus says, "If you lose your life, you shall find it, and the first shall be last." Like all these like oxymorons, kind
Mhm.
of like, if you're stripped of everything, you're going to be given everything back tenfold.
Mhm.
Those who lose their life will find it. The ones who are last shall be first. Um, so just a thing there where that journey,
We need Jordan Peterson on this podcast, bro.
yeah, 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 for real. But yeah, just a point there where this journey ultimately leads one to a place of complete fulfillment. I think that's one point, right? I think that's what the story shows there. That Job, it's a happy ending.
Right.
That's the beauty in that, right? The beauty in losing yourself is that there's a happy ending of finding yourself. Now, in terms of the love, okay, so I mentioned the stripping of the layers of who you think you are, the complete questioning of everything that you think you know until you hit a point where you could no longer question. Now, when you hit that point, when you touch upon that pure spiritual truth that's at the center of us, that Jesus stumbled upon and called the kingdom of heaven, that Buddha stumbled upon and called nirvana. When you hit that, when you find that complete point of truth underneath all of the things that are not truly us, what is that? what is that center point? I think it's our identity, our true identity is at the center point there. And I think our true identity, and this kind of seems what a lot of the great traditions go to, our true identity is love. It just, that's what it is. At the essence of the human soul, that's what it is. It's just it it is truly just a manifestation of love. And that's
Interesting.
what you find.
Interesting.
And because that's
Which
what you find,
actually
what was
backs
that?
up, which actually almost supports the case that because Jesus isn't really like attached to these things, he is love, that he can do what he
He's loving from a whole different plane of consciousness.
right. So he just goes and does what he needs to do in the story in the Christian world because he loves everyone. And
Right. And it's coming from his identity as it's coming from his true identity. And it's because he walked the path of seeking the truth. Sorry. It's because he walked the path of seeking the truth that he stumbled upon this identity of pure love, from which we get one of the greatest journeys in human history, which is the journey of Christ.
damn, bro. Wait a
Yeah.
second, bro. So this is your podcast? This is your channel?
I mean, I've been here the whole time, bro.
No, I
You
mean,
just,
this is
you,
a channel. This is the channel that you're starting on your own because
you,
this is a this is a trip. I mean, it's not a trip. Yeah, it's a trip, but it's like, damn, bro. Yeah, that's definitely a
bro,
ride.
I've had these answers the whole time. You just never asked me the right questions, bro.
No,
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 I'll
I'm just
play.
saying. I guess what I'm saying is that, bro. Like, I mean, your explanation all stems from the question, "Hey, what's your YouTube channel about?" And
That's my channel, bro.
that's your channel, yeah.
That's
Which
my channel. It's so my channel is that answer that I gave you, where it ultimately leads to love.
okay,
And not only not only that quest, but the fact that that journey that leads back into that point, that single point of existence of love, where ultimately the essence of me, of me Christian, is your essence of Nino. The only difference is that the essence of Christian is right now in this body experiencing the world through Christian's eyes, and the essence of Nino is experiencing the world through Nino's eyes. And and it feels like we're two different people. But when we strip the layers, I think what we find is that we're actually the same. And in fact, when you look at what Jesus says, he says a lot of things that indicate, that point to this, right? When
right,
he says a lot of things, right? Love your neighbor as yourself. He doesn't say love your neighbor as much as yourself. He says love
right,
your neighbor as if it were you. Why? Because your neighbor is you. At the deepest level, you guys are actually the same being.
yeah. I
You're just sharing
especially
different.
I think today something that I can take away from this discussion also is just the fact that, like, how we derive, like, when you, yeah, like what you're saying right now, like love thy neighbor. Yeah, when you love yourself, you love your neighbor equally, and therefore, in that sense, you can sacrifice yourself for them because, yeah, why not? You love them, like you're not phased by, almost by fear or any attachment, right? And I think that's what we see with at least in the story of Jesus, right? Is that, like, I need to do it because I have to do it, and I'm not gonna be distracted. I am love, which he is, right? I mean, at least in the Christian
Yeah.
sense, right? He's love, and he does it, right? And it's maybe the same thing that Job is like, there's nothing you can do to me because I like I'm unfazed by it. And
I'm immortal. I'm like, yeah,
mhm,
my essence is immortal. My essence is untouched. You can't phase what I truly am. You
mhm.
could take everything away from me.
Same thing. I mean, and that's why I said earlier it's the same thing with Abraham, the story of Abraham, because that was everything to him.
Sure. That's why, yeah. In
What
fact, that's a good point.
what
Yeah, and there's a lot of symbolism there leading to a similar message. Yeah.
right? It's like I'm willing to give up the thing that you gave me, the attachment sort of, to show that I I trust, I love, I'm confident. I don't know,
Right.
sort of kind of like what we're deriving from this. I mean, yeah, at least what I'm deriving from it, it's a good, it's an interesting, yeah, it's a
Yeah,
fascinating
no, there's an interesting
perspective.
parallel there. It'd be interesting to pull that scripture up one day and go through it and see where it lines up. Um now, yeah, now again, Jesus talked a lot about oneness, right? He talked a lot about me and the Father are one, and and we're all basically. He would even say, like, I am the vine, you are the branches. Like, we're literally all one plant. We're intertwined. It just feels like we're different because right now we're having different experiences.
Right.
Now, okay, and then now it's one thing to understand this intellectually and to like philosophically kind of play with it. Like, okay, we're all one. What's that mean? It's a completely separate thing to have a spiritual experience that me and everybody else is actually the same essence. And because we're all the same essence, from therein grows a love that I can't even contain.
Right.
And that experience, that's the realm of Jesus. That's the realm of Buddha. That's the realm of the mystics and the saints and the prophets. I think that's where they're playing at. Where right now, where I'm playing at is like I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to wrap my head around this, and still, right, I'm trying to wrap it into words. But when you hear them, they've actually had the experience. They've the Buddha. He awoke to what? He awoke to his true nature,
Mm-hmm.
and that was the freedom he was seeking.
Mm-hmm.
So, the channel is ultimately about how how clues of this are spread out throughout the world in all the traditions, and how they're all ultimately leading to one point of truth, and the hints are everywhere, and that is kind of the investigation I'm on. And
Bro, I think,
there's
bro.
actually what's up.
Oh, sorry, Chris. I was gonna say, don't give him more, bro. We want to have him keep coming back, bro. I think
Yeah.
that's a great trailer, bro. That's
Yeah,
perfect.
there you go, man. There's actually a word for it. It's called the perennial philosophy. That's one idea behind it. That there's like a one thread of truth that's interwoven between the fabric of all the religions in the world. Um, and yeah, and there's so much there. There's so much to explore there. Like when you start studying. Right. I mean, yeah, when you start studying about the origins of the religions, did Jesus go to India to learn about yoga over there in order to incorporate that into his spiritual journey? Like there's accounts of people who say that Jesus went to India during that time. They called them Isa.
Hmm.
Um, and could it be that there is one, yeah, kind of one fabric, one thread of truth that's interwoven, and it's almost hidden, but it's there, and that's what I want to talk about because that's what I want to experience for myself. I want to experience I've dealt with a lot of mental health shit, and I've dealt with like just internal suffering, and I want freedom. I want I want just freedom. I want happiness. I want like fucking unchained, unbounded love to just course through my body, and uh and that's the path. Yeah.
Bro, that's yeah. That's a bro. That's a crazy path to be on, but that's a good. I think, bro. I think in that channel, I think you'll find a lot of people who are wanting to participate in the discussion and in that basically that journey that you're on. So yeah, bro. Dang, that's dope. I mean, bro, there was so much. I mean, I kind of cut you off just because I was like, damn, bro, we could keep going because there's a lot.
Yeah. Sure.
There's a lot of scripture, a lot of analogies, a lot of parables to just break down. But yeah, bro, we'll have them like and subscribe, and we'll keep giving them more. You feel me?
Yeah, man. So there you have it, dude. The philosophy of money, the philosophy of love.
The philosophy, and that's the
Tho-
title. That's the
those are
title of
the
the
two.
episode.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Those are the two channels, man. And look, bro, this podcast works because you're gonna be tackling you're almost tackling the philosophy of the material world
Hmm.
and how we can anchor ourselves to happiness in the material world. Whereas I'm kind of going into a different like space, but we're in the material world. You can't unless you're a monk or a nun or like a fucking you're living in a in a temple on the mountain. Like you can't just dedicate your life to this to finding truth. It's not practical. That's why monks exist.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, bro, they somebody's got to devote their life to it. So but while we're here stuck in the material world, yeah, somebody's got to be talking about the philosophy of money and how to
yeah.
and how to get by. Yeah, bro.
Yeah, bro. Somebody, yeah, like people need to learn not just the how to, but the why of things, and I think that's what I think. I think at the very least, people will get pearls and quotes and little lessons here or there that they can remember, they can share at the dinner table during Thanksgiving. You feel me? And if at the very least they get that, then I feel like I did my job, and I think you can feel like you
Um,
did your job too.
yeah, 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 man.
Yeah, if they're like,
So
hey,
there
I
you
learned.
have it, bro. Any
No, I was just
Go
saying,
ahead.
yeah, if they at Thanksgiving dinner, they're like, hey, I heard this YouTuber, and he said this, he said some crazy stuff, but he did say a quote from the Buddha, and
Yeah,
or hey, I learned about money, but not about 401ks. I learned actually about this guy that talks about Abraham or Moses.
yeah, bro. That's sick.
See,
Yeah.
and if they say that at the Thanksgiving dinner table, bro, then
Then
I'm good.
then it was all worth
It
it.
was
Yeah.
all worth it. But point of no return. It's your boy
Point of
Adrian.
no return, bro. Chris. Um. Yeah, man. Peace out, dude. We'll see you guys next week or something. Well,
Yep.
yeah.
Episode
Follow
3.
follow our channels, bro. Christian Meriles. We'll put it in the fucking show notes. Shout out your channel, bro.
Notorious Money Show, but it's at Adrian Niño de Guzman YouTube channel.
Cool. And yeah, everybody, we've reached the point of no return. So peace.
Peace. We'll catch you guys next week. One love.